Hi, everyone. Happy New Year. Happy 2026. I can't believe it's 2026, but it is what it is. And the news has been around that the Fest for Beatles fans, formerly Beatle Fest, is taking a break in 2026 and will be kind of regrouping, maybe rebooting, coming back bigger than ever in 2027. I thought I would offer my thoughts on this. First of all, I'm perfectly fine with there being no Beatlefest in 2026, and I'll start out by telling you why. For one thing, for the last few years, I had already anticipated that I was probably going to miss out on the fest, even if they had it in 2026, because this year is going to be an anniversary with my girlfriend. We've been together for 15 years. And I had already decided when it came time to the 15th anniversary for us, I was going to spend it together with her, and I was not going to necessarily go to the Fest for Beatles fans. So it's no big loss to me. Also, financially, I've been spending a lot of money lately, and it's been the holidays just passed, and I had some expensive dental work done and stuff like that. So basically, I could use to save some money on the Fest. And that's just my own personal experience, but let me talk about the Fest in general. The Fest for Beatles fans, we all know, is not what it once was. Now, I have fun every time I go to the Fest. The reason I have fun is because I have this YouTube channel, and I like to meet people who watch my channel. It's so much fun and very fulfilling for all of you out there who like my show, like my channel, who subscribe, to meet me there and want to say hi, want to talk, take photos, whatever it is. I really appreciate that. And to me, that's what the Fest has become. The last, I'd say, I don't know, 7, 8 years, something like that. That's what my number one enjoyment is. Also, the fact that I can meet all of you out there and people who know who you are, who are YouTubers also. A lot of my friends over the years, I don't even know where to begin. There's so many of them. But, we get together, we socialize, we talk Beatles, we eat together, we have a good time. And it's the socializing out there. The socializing, the camaraderie, the bonding, coming together of like fans. That's what I like. The actual events of the fest itself, that's become a moot point to me in a way. Now, we all know that the best days of the Fest for Beatles fans are long behind. And I know that's going to be hard for younger people to hear. I mean, there's some younger people, or just maybe middle-aged people who it's their first times going to the fest. They have nothing to compare it to. My first Beatle Fest was 1981 in March, right after we lost John Lennon. I hadn't been to a Beatle Fest till 1981, but I can tell you the Beatle Fests in the 80s were amazing. They were magical. It was a different time, and we had more need for the fest than we do now. For example, first of all, the guests are not what they used to be because, through nobody's fault, obviously, Beatles guests are few and far between. We've lost a lot of guests. A lot of people have passed on, people associated with the Beatles. So we don't have that anymore. It's tough to find guests, although I sometimes wonder, why don't they ask this person, or why don't they ask that person? But I'm going to give the Fest people the benefit of the doubt, because I figure they realize all the Beatle people, all the Beatle entourage and people associated with the group. I'm sure it's run through their head. It's not like they've never thought of it. There's probably reasons we don't know why they didn't come. Maybe they were asked and they, for one reason or other, refused to come or couldn't come, or one thing or another. So I give them that benefit of the doubt, but the guests are never going to be what they were, so that's out. The next thing is the flea market, the dealer's room. A lot of people go there to see really rare items and to collect and buy rare items, to find a lot of good deals at the flea market, Beatles vendor tables. That has dwindled down pathetically. It's pathetic. Now, I've talked to some of the vendors. The vendors often say that the price is just too much. The asking price to set up a table is too much. I could understand that. You walk into a vendor's room years ago in the 1980s, for example, it seemed like there were 50 or 100 people, probably not that many, selling Beatles items and tables. It was a long, long flea market. Now it seems like you get maybe five, something, if even five. Or maybe a little more, but it's dwindling, and that's also because of the internet. These days, you can buy Beatles memorabilia and rarities and collectibles online, right? You can do it. You don't have to go into the actual Beatle Fest to do that anymore. So that's another thing that's changed with the times. Another thing that's changed is one of the exciting things about early Beatle Fests, 70s and 80s, and even the 90s to some point, was the idea that you could see a lot of rare Beatles movies. We didn't try to imagine this. We didn't have home video. We didn't have YouTube. We didn't have the ability to click on and watch rare films of the Beatles. You couldn't even see A Hard Day's Night. You couldn't even see Help. You couldn't even see Magical Mystery Tour. We didn't have DVDs. We didn't have Blu-rays, 4Ks. We didn't have physical media where you can actually watch whatever you want to watch on discs or in your own house. It used to be a draw to go there and get to see in the grand ballroom. You'd see Help. I remember loving Help and Let It Be. They show Let It Be on 16 millimeter films, or A Hard Day's Night, Help, Yellow Submarine, Magical Mystery Tour. You went there to see the stuff. And they also had video rooms. When video first started out in the early 80s, when video was really coming into it, somebody would be in there with a VCR and a lot of rare Beatles, unofficial, sometimes unauthorized, rare treats. We can see all of that. It's at the touch of our finger right here. Right here on my computer screen, I can go on YouTube and click on it, and there's everything you want to see. So there's really not that much reason anymore. Now, one thing that's still the same is that you can see and hear live music. They have live bands, the Apple stage, and they have contests, sound-alike contests, the house band and stuff. So you can still hear live Beatles music if that's your thing. So there's that. And of course, there's always Beatles trivia, Beatles contests, name that tune, games you can play, hosted by Tom Frangione, who's really amazing. He's really a good host. He's fun. So that's great. All that is still there, but a lot has disappeared, and forever too. You can't get those things back. There's also panel discussions where Beatles authority figures are up there, authors, podcasters now. I'm very happy to say that I went on quite a good number of platforms now where I was part of a panel and having discussions and offering my thoughts and feelings. I enjoyed doing that. It was on my bucket list for a long time. For a long time, I wanted to be at the fest and maybe part of a panel. I love talking Beatles, and I love having people with me at the table and also people in the audience. I enjoyed that. I did it. It's done. If I could do more in the future, it would be great. If I never do one again, I'm okay with that, because I did it, scratched it off the list. It's been accomplished in my life. Why I would like to still be at the fest, as I said earlier, is I want to meet people. I want to meet people who watch my channel. I want to meet other YouTubers and hang out. It's a Beatles meetup. It's a getting to know you place. So one last thing I have to say is the cost of going to the fest is astronomical. It's becoming absurd. I'll be honest with you. You got to do better. They got to do better with the prices. It's really a lot of money, especially if you're going to get a hotel room and if you're going to get 2 or 3 days at the fest. Pay for that. If you have to travel, like I went to Chicago only once. I usually go to the New York, New Jersey area fest. I went to Chicago once. It was a lot of money. It's ridiculous, honestly. So, and for what you're getting too, honestly, let's be frank here. So that's my feeling on that. Now, is there going to be another fest in 2027? Let me say that I think it's a good year to reboot it, because 27 will be the 60th anniversary of the Summer of Love, 60th anniversary of Sergeant Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, 67, 2027. There's always been that 1967 vibe with the Beatles when they're trying to put out new, like first time they put out a deluxe box set of Pepper and stuff. They started with Pepper. That's always been a good focal point. So I hope we get some kind of fest. If we don't, I'm okay with that too. Those are my thoughts.